You know how sometimes you wake up and just feel that something's wrong? That was me. On the morning of my 28th birthday, I opened my eyes to the sound of my phone buzzing on the nightstand. One missed call. No voicemail. Nothing strange. Until I saw the caller ID. Mom. I stared at the screen. I hadn't deleted her number. I couldn't, even though she passed away 13 months ago. I just couldn't bring myself to remove it. I guess part of me hoped that keeping her name in my contacts meant I wasn't letting go completely. But this was different. The timestamp said 2:03 a.m. My stomach turned. My hands started to sweat. I opened the call history. It was real. Not a glitch. Not a spoofed number. It was her number. The old landline from the house I grew up in. The one we disconnected after the funeral. I tried to tell myself there had to be an explanation. A data error. Someone spoofing the number. A scam. But something deep inside me, the part that knew her voice better than my own, told me it wasn't that. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I just lay there, staring at the screen, her name still there. Mocking me. By morning, I convinced myself to call it back. Just to prove it was nothing. Just to hear that it was disconnected like it should be. But when I tapped redial, it rang. Once. Twice. Then a click. And then, "Happy birthday, baby." Her voice. Clear as day. Soft. Warm. Exactly how I remembered it. I couldn't breathe. "Mom," I whispered. A pause. Then, "Did you get my present?" I couldn't move. I couldn't even think. What present?" Another pause. "It's waiting for you." Just like always. The line went dead. I dropped the phone. Just let it fall on the floor. I wanted to believe it was a prank. Some cruel joke. But no one could imitate her voice like that. No one would know that she always gave me my gift early in the morning, before school, when I was a kid. No one would know what she used to say. But that was just the beginning. Because when I left my apartment later that day, something was waiting. And it wasn't a present. It was a letter. In her handwriting. The envelope was tucked under my doormat. Cream-colored. Slightly worn. And my name written across the front in perfect cursive. Her cursive. I froze. I hadn't seen her handwriting in over a year. Not since we packed up her things. But the loops, the slant, the way the Y and Tony curled under the line. It was unmistakable. I picked it up like it might burn me. Inside was a birthday card. The same kind she used to buy every year from the drugstore. Big, cheesy text on the front. "To my son, my sunshine." And inside, her handwriting again. "I'm so proud of you. I'll always be with you. Love, Mom." That was it. No explanations. No clues. Just love. And somehow that made it worse. Because this wasn't a memory. This wasn't me finding an old card and forgetting I'd kept it. It was new. Fresh. And it hadn't been there the night before. I sat on the edge of my bed, holding it in both hands, heart pounding. I wanted to cry. I wanted to throw it away. But most of all, I wanted to believe it. To believe that somehow my mom had found a way to reach me. That she was out there, still looking out for me. But then things got strange. Subtle at first. The hallway light started flickering, just the one outside my bedroom. My phone kept turning off in the middle of the night. And I started dreaming about her. Every night. Same dream. I'd be sitting at the kitchen table back home. She'd be across from me pouring tea. But the rest of the house was wrong. Dark, warped, almost like it was underwater. And she never looked up. She just kept whispering something I couldn't hear. I started waking up with nosebleeds. I couldn't focus at work. My appetite disappeared. And still, I couldn't stop thinking about that voice on the phone. I needed to know if it would call again. So I left my ringer on. Volume up. Notifications off. I didn't sleep that night. Just stared at the ceiling. Waiting. At exactly 2:03 a.m. The phone rang. Same name. Same number. Same rising panic in my chest. This time I answered without hesitation. "Mom, you didn't eat your cake," she said, her voice low, almost disappointed. "What?" "I left it for you. You always love chocolate. Why won't you eat it, baby?" I didn't see any cake." Silence. Then, softer. "You're forgetting me, aren't you?" "No." "Don't lie to me." The line went dead. And when I turned on the light, there was chocolate smeared on the corner of my nightstand. I stared at it. That smudge of chocolate, dark, glossy, and unmistakably fresh. But I hadn't eaten chocolate. I hadn't brought any into the apartment. I hadn't even thought about chocolate cake. And yet, there it was. Right where she said it would be. I touched it. Still soft. Still real. That was the moment something in my brain broke loose. The part that keeps things orderly, logical, safe, it just gave up. Because this wasn't grief. This wasn't me imagining things because I missed her. This was happening. I didn't sleep. I sat on the edge of the bed, watching the nightstand like it might grow teeth. I kept thinking about the phone call. "You're forgetting me, aren't you?" It wasn't a question. It was an accusation. And she was right. There were things I'd let go of. Memories I tried to bury. Moments from the hospital I didn't want to relive. But now they were coming back. That last week, the way her voice changed. The things she said right before the morphine took her under. She'd grabbed my wrist one night. Tight. "Don't forget me," she whispered. "Promise me you won't forget." I had promised. But I didn't understand what I was agreeing to. The next day, I tried to act normal. I went to work. Answered emails. Sat through meetings. But everything felt off. People looked at me strangely. My coworkers spoke in hushed tones when I walked by. And when I got home, there were more things out of place. The faucet was dripping. The hallway light was flickering again. And the framed photo of me and my mom at my high school graduation. It had been turned face down. I didn't do that. That night, I unplugged the phone. Turned it off. Took the battery out. Put it in a drawer in the kitchen. I thought maybe that would stop it. But I forgot something. She didn't need the phone anymore. At 2:03 a.m., the TV turned on. Full volume static. I ran out of the bedroom and nearly tripped over something in the hallway. A plate, with a slice of chocolate cake. Still warm. Sitting on the floor. Waiting for me. And next to it, a note. Folded once. Plain. Handwritten. "You said you'd remember. So why did you try to forget me?" I stood there for a long time. Looking at the plate. The cake. The note. Everything felt wrong, but in a very specific way. Like a childhood memory playing backward. It wasn't just creepy. It was personal. This wasn't a ghost haunting my apartment. It was her. Or something wearing her voice, her handwriting, her rituals like a mask. I picked up the note again. My hands were shaking. "You said you'd remember. So why did you try to forget me?" That word, forget, it kept coming back. Like she was angry. And maybe she had every right to be. When she was dying, I did what I could. I brought her food. Drove her to appointments. Sat beside her every night. But there were things I didn't say. Feelings I buried. I couldn't tell her how scared I was. How sometimes I wished it would be over, not because I wanted her gone, but because I couldn't take watching her fade. And after she died, I ran. Emotionally, I mean. I packed up her room like it never existed. I stopped visiting her favorite places. I threw away her phone. I tried to forget. Now something wanted me to pay for that. I didn't eat the cake. I dumped it in the trash and flushed the note down the toilet. I turned off every light, unplugged every screen, and sat in the corner of the room with my hands over my ears. But at 2:03 a.m., the lights came back on. All of them. The bedroom, the hallway, the bathroom, even the inside of the fridge. Everything lit up like a stage. And from the kitchen, I heard footsteps. Slow, barefoot, familiar. And then, her voice. "You used to call for me when you had nightmares." She was right. When I was little, I used to yell for her down the hallway. And every time, without fail, she came. But now, I didn't move. I didn't answer. She kept walking. Closer. Until she was just outside the door. And in the quiet, I heard her whisper again. "So why won't you answer now?" The lights went out. Total darkness. Not just lights out, I mean nothing. No streetlight glow from the window. No red LED from the alarm clock. Not even the faint hum from the fridge. It felt like I'd been dropped into a box and sealed shut. And in that darkness, I heard breathing. Not mine. Not panicked. Slow. Rhythmic. Right on the other side of the bedroom door. I stayed frozen in the corner. My heart was slamming against my ribs, but I didn't dare move. Then I heard her whisper. "You always knew how to find me." I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw open the door and prove she wasn't there. But I knew deep in my chest if I opened that door, she would be. And I didn't know what that meant anymore. Because this wasn't my mom. Not really. It was like some fragment of her had crawled out of the past and refused to let go. And the more I resisted, the more real she became. I thought about the cake, the card, the calls. She wasn't haunting me. She was trying to move back in. The next morning, I found something new. A box. Sitting on my kitchen counter. No label. No markings. Just my name written in that same looping cursive. Inside was a photo album. Old pictures of us. My mom and me, birthdays, holidays, little moments I'd completely forgotten. But as I flipped through the pages, the photos started changing. At first, it was subtle. My face blurred in some or missing entirely. My mom's smile just a little too wide. Then full pages were filled with images I'd never seen, never taken. Me asleep in bed, sitting in the dark, looking into the camera, and always in the background, her, standing in doorways, sitting at the edge of the frame, getting closer, page by page, until the final photo, a picture of me, right now, wearing the same clothes I had on in that moment, looking at a photo album in the kitchen, and behind me, clear as day, my mom, standing over my shoulder, smiling. I dropped the photo album. It hit the floor with a soft thump, pages fanning out like wings. But I didn't look down. I couldn't. I was too focused on the space behind me. Frozen, not breathing, terrified of what I might see if I turned around. But I had to know. Slowly, I turned my head. There was nothing there. No one. Just an empty kitchen, flickering ceiling light, and the faint hum of the fridge returning like it had never stopped. But the feeling didn't leave. That presence, like the air was holding its breath, like something was standing just outside my line of sight, waiting, watching. I backed away from the counter and went straight for the front door. It was locked, deadbolt and chain. No signs of entry. I grabbed my phone, still turned off, and left. Just walked out into the night with no plan, no direction. I ended up sleeping in my car in a gas station parking lot. It wasn't much, but at least it felt empty. The next morning, I went back to my apartment, and everything was clean. Too clean. The photo album was gone. The chocolate stain on the nightstand gone. The birthday card, the letter, the cake plate, all gone. Like someone had hit undo on the last 5 days of my life. Except for one thing. On my phone, which I swear had been powered off, there was a new voicemail. No number. No timestamp. Just one message. I hesitated, then pressed play. I just wanted one more birthday with you. Her voice cracked. She sounded tired. You're all I ever had, baby. And you promised you wouldn't forget me. But it's okay now. I remember you. Then silence. For a long, painful moment, I just stood there. And then I made the mistake of opening the front-facing camera. Not to take a photo. Just to look. Behind me, standing in the doorway of the kitchen, was her. Not smiling. Just staring. Like she was still waiting for me to say something. Anything. And this time, I didn't look away.